Children of same-sex parents. What's the best part about having same-sex parents? You fricked my mom. Joke's on you, I have 2 dads. You get to hear twice the number of dad jokes. It's worse than that. They can team up and do 2-person dad jokes and laugh between themselves about it, thus exacerbating the problem. They just encourage each other. My eye muscles are stretched beyond recognition from all the rolling. Best part, I get double the mother sympathy. Bad day, I can call both of them and have them shower me with love and compliments. There is nothing better for the soul than a mom telling you how awesome you are when you've heard the opposite for 8 hours from your boss. Worst part is double the smothering. Y'all are some sick widows. Well, you never hear of anyone being smothered to death. Trolling them by leaving a single world's greatest dad coffee mug on the table with a bow on it. I love it, watch them go at it. Bonus idea would be to leave a world's second best dad mug next to it. Not me, but my roommate in college had 4 moms. The daughter of a lesbian couple who divorced and remarried other women. So when people would say yo mama, she'd respond with, which one? We all share clothes. That's pretty great actually. At least you won't have to buy a bunch of fancy clothes when you become older because you have to appear professional on occasion. When I talk about my moms, black people think I'm cool. This took me a little longer than I care to admit. I don't have same gender parents, but my dad does. His favorite quote is to say I'm half lesbian on my mother's side. The stereotype about gays being good at cooking is 100% true for my dads. We eat like royalty constantly, even now that my dad is diabetic. Thanksgiving is always amazing. Friends beg to come to our house. Have 2 dads who wrote the book on hosting lavish dinners and cocktail parties. Can confirm. I have 2 moms. I get along really well with girls and find it easy to get to know them. On the other hand, guys intimidate me, and I'm male. I have straight parents and I too have a much easier time connecting with women and men. Not that I don't have male friends, and I'm not intimidated, but I just do not possess the capability or comfort to open up emotionally to other males in the slightest. I myself don't have same gender parents, but my ex-girlfriend has 2 moms and I have several friends that have same gender parents. This is actually a question I regularly ask because I'm curious and gay myself. One friend with 2 dads said, my dads can beat up your dad. Ex-girlfriend said, when you need to dress up, one mom can do your hair and the other can do your makeup at the same time. Another friend with 2 dads, boys think twice before messing with me. If one overprotective dad is scary to face, try 2 at once. Friend with 2 moms, you don't have to ask where's mom because there's always one around. Your dad beat up my dad? It's cool. I have a backup dad. He's a power bottom bear. The best thing for me is that they do what they are good at as opposed to doing mum things and dad things or whatever the gender roles for parents are. A lot of straight couples could learn from this. When my mom, and I got out in public, we scope out women together. It's like having bros, but they feed me and love me and I was birthed from one of them. That's got to be a hoot. I'm not, but my daughter lives with her 2 moms, no lack of menstrual supplies, and someone to understand strange cramping issues. They can share some clothes, and she seems to have skipped most of the real teenage angst about physicality. That's lucky. My dad came out when I was 15, so I actually became more closeted to not be the gay kid of the gay parent. It's pretty normal although there is a 100% chance that I'm not an accident, so if people are paying me out about having gay parents that shuts them up pretty quick. Oh, and when people try and pay me out and call me gay, I'm straight as an arrow. I would tell them the gay gene skips a generation, and then ask them if their parents were gay. That normally has them on their feet for a while. Also, if me and a mate are paid out for doing something a little feminine, I can just reply with I was raised by the gays. I don't know what this guy's problem is though. Source: I have 2 lesbian mums and had 2 gay dads. My father passed away last month. People can never say I was an accident, and I like to pretend I can pick what nationality I am half of because I have no chance of knowing who my father is. On the other hand, I'm a guy with 2 mums and 2 sisters. I feel pretty outnumbered most of the time. Funnily enough, it's a good conversation piece. People always seem interested. 2 mums and 2 sisters. That sounds exhausting. My girlfriend has 3 sisters. I can only imagine the grief their dad went through raising them. Heck, even the dog was a girl. I'd imagine the worst part would be when you said mum or dad and both respond when you only wanted a particular one. That's not really an issue. They're different people and go by different monikers. It's just like in school when there were 2 kids with the same name. Either one went by a nickname or you added something to distinguish them. I am Mom or Momsy depending on the kid. My wife is Mama. I was raised by 2 moms and 2 dads. My dads are married to each other. My moms were married, but are now divorced. I can honestly say that I wouldn't have it any other way. Sometimes it is pretty weird explaining my family to people, but I still would not change it. I have both male and female role models, and a unique perspective from how unusual my family structure is. Also, it is pretty fun saying that I have the gayest family in the world. I had 3 moms and 1 dad growing since my parents were divorced. My mom was a bit more open and accepting with me when at 13 I decided I was going to be a lifetime furry. Happy to report that life died at age 16. IT's not phase mom. This is WHOIAM. My friend has 2 moms and he's black. The I never knew my father jokes never end. TT. My parents divorced when I was 12 when my mom came out saying she was in a relationship with another woman. I ended up living with my mom and her girlfriend until I was 17 and moved out on my own. At first being really immature and in an attempt to make sense of it I fell in with kind of a religious crowd and was convinced my mom was seduced by the devil. After I grew up a bit and lived on my own and saw more of life I realized that my mom was probably gay her entire life but because of her upbringing suppressed it and tried to lead a normal life. I've also realized that my mom's partner is not the incarnation of evil and is in fact a very great person who, among other things, makes my mom really happy. I'm an atheist now and feel pretty ashamed when I think back to the way I felt when I was a teenager and I'm pretty glad I never expressed my thoughts on it to them. It will always be my little secret. My mom is retired now and is living happily with her partner of 16 years. My dad is doing great, has a girlfriend and him and I are very close. My kids call my mom grandma and her partner grandma. Name. The strangest part about my coming around to respecting and now being strongly for LGBT rights is kind of a philosophical problem. In a way I owe my existence to attitudes of 50 years ago. If LGBTs had always been accepted in the way we are moving towards it is guaranteed certain that my brother and I would not exist. In the end, love is love. The whole experience led me to understand that love comes regardless of the labels society puts on relationships and I'm proud my kids will grow up thinking absolutely nothing strange about the idea of same-gender relationships and only identifying it for what it is, love. There's only so far you can go with the if it wasn't for X thing. For example, if it wasn't for Hitler I wouldn't exist so, yeah. Not me, but an ex. She had 2 dads and knew that we would find a way to do our thing, so they just gave us condoms and privacy. This is how I want to be with my own kids. Just guide them into making the right choices at their own pace. Interesting for me, my biological parents were married until I was 3, so single parents for a while. Dad remarried when I was 9 and when I was 10, mom came out of the closet and got a civil union with stepmom. Now a marriage. When all the drama died down, things got pretty normal. It does get annoying explaining the whole thing to people, but it's really nothing unusual for me. Well, my mom is pretty sporty and doesn't do things like wear makeup and skirts and all that, so I could have been at a disadvantage not knowing that stuff. But fortunately, my stepmom, who's married to my mom, stepped in, get it, and taught me how to do my makeup and hair and all that. I'm still at a slight disadvantage, since I take after my mom more and am not really interested, so I don't get much practice, but I know what to do, at least. Who says makeup and skirts are a necessary skill anyway? You do you, boo. Mom? Yeah, no the other one. The best thing about being raised by same-gender parents was that I didn't feel any different from kids raised by opposite-gender parents. My mom's raised me exactly the same as any other parents would. No, I didn't turn out gay. No, I don't miss having a dad. I'm your average straight male that turned out no different than anyone else raised by loving, accepting, Open-minded parents. In fact, I'd wager to say that I ended up being more well-rounded than many others I grew up with. I was raised by two moms. I can't really think of anything that would make it any better or worse. I guess I was eligible for a flag scholarship, so I'll go with that. Just like your mom in bed last night. Ah, so you look like a woman then. This is perfect. Endless chain of go ask your mom, dad. Having two moms has taught me to be open to understanding people whose family makeups are less common, and it made the entire gay marriage legalization thing very important to me as it was happening. All in all, I suppose by now I know for sure that there is nothing inferior about being raised by same-gender parents, as used to be the predominant thought in the US up until sometime in the 2000s. I have two lesbian moms and two gay dads. It's an odd situation, I know. I'd say the overall best part is just having 4 different viewpoints to grow up with. I think it's made me understanding of most people's personal issues on a different level than most. Your mom jokes are the best. You had fricked my mom? Well, must have not been consensual. She likes the ladies. Also saying gay jokes to her and telling her I found God and think she's going to heck. Fun times. I'm so happy to find a post like this, it makes me smile so much. Both my parents are math teachers, so I just talk about how terrible math is on a regular basis around them. Fun times. My girlfriend and I are in a lesbian relationship, and her mom has been with her girlfriend for like 10 years. It's funny because her mom and this woman have been living together for like 9 of these years, even moved states together twice, but never admitted to being a lesbian until my girlfriend came out to her, so they kinda came out to each other at the same time. I love it because they're both super crafty. My girlfriend and I have a fixer-upper together, and her moms have helped us replace the front door, replace the kitchen floor, repaint most of the house, and repaired my kitchen cabinets. And they raise chickens so we get free, fresh eggs all the time. My parents, mum and dad, were together till I about was 15, and now my mum is with her partner Jane. Nothing weird about she makes lesbian adult jokes to try and weird me out. It's exactly the same as a normal family really. My mum's partner isn't very feminine, so I assume that is something my mum looked for. A woman that's like a guy but not a guy. Same exact thing for me, but I was younger and my mom's partner actually eventually transitioned FTO. My mom jokes about accidentally ending up back in a straight marriage. I don't have same gender parents, but my friend does, and in general, they seem to be more rational, liberal, understanding, and laid back. My parents are Christian helicopter parents. I really want to come out as an atheist to them but not sure. Don't have same gender parents, but I can only imagine how much of a convenience it is on Father's Day, Mother's Day for buying gifts. My mom and dad divorced after 4 years of marriage and 2 kids. My mom came out a year after I was born. They have split custody and my dad remarried. My mom got with somebody pretty soon after they divorced, so I know what it's like from both sides. It's pretty much the same. No striking differences, just different parenting styles. Also, it's funny to see people confused when I say I have 3 moms. I don't have gay parents, but I imagine the highlight of the experience in an all-male or all-female household might be the total lack of arguments about the toilet seat. I'm a guy with 2 dads, and I have had those dads for most of my formative life. They're married, Canada, and one is my biological father. Anyway, I've thought about this exact question a lot while growing up, and there are several positive things I got out of having same-gender parents. First, it enabled me to honestly question my physicality from the beginning. Nothing was morally out of bounds in terms of my orientation, so I felt comfortable experimenting before concluding that I'm pretty solidly straight. There's no fear or uncertainty in me about what I want. I've questioned everything and I know exactly what I like. Second, it taught me an important lesson about defending the people and principles I love. I grew up in the US in the 70s and 80s when being gay wasn't all that acceptable. I took a lot of heat on the playground for that because it was a small town and people noticed that there was no mom and 2 guys in my house. So early on I had a decision to make: lie and basically dishonor my parents, or embrace what I had and fight. I chose to fight, and for better or worse that came to form an important part of who I am today. Finally, as a consequence of growing up with gay parents, I'm a very good, and very quick, judge of character. I had to be while growing up because I had to know that the kids I brought home were going to be cool with what they found there. Partly as a result, I've always had a smaller circle of friends than I think a lot of folks do, but I trust every one of those friends with my life. Oh, and I've got better gaydar than just about anyone who's not a Kinsey 6. I guess the best thing that I have personally taken away from it that would be that I was brought up in a very accepting household. My parents are people who know what it is like to not be understood by your family. I think that this makes them take extra steps to make sure my sister and I know just how accepting they will be of any life decisions we make. For example, both of my parents are somewhat religious, yet they are more than accepting of the fact that I want nothing to do with any of it. Also, I think that having lesbian parents has made me a pretty accepting person across the board. I learned from an early age that people are free to make their own choices, and not to judge them for it. That it's the exact same and that my mom's happy. I like this a lot. I have a friend who has same gender parents and she tells me her favorite thing is when someone says, "Nice shirt," she says thanks. Both my dads like it too. 2 Christmases. Wait, am I confusing this for something else? Your mum jokes always end with a response of well, which one? Calling mum can get confusing. And the best thing is we used to cake once a month. I'll let you figure the reasoning for that out. I have a mom and a stepmom. The best part is having a female role model who actually likes me. You have been visited by the romantic doggo. Comment love is magic so you never fall in the friend zone. Like and subscribe, you magnificent person.